Live from the BiffNet Studios World Headquarters in Spring, Texas, it's Barry on Deck, hosted by former ESPN Houston radio host and stand-up comedian Barry Laminack, starring Oliver the Cat. Written by Barry Laminack, produced by Barry Laminack, directed by, you guessed it, Barry Laminack. Featuring sports, entertainment, special guests, film sessions, and some drinking. Okay, a lot of drinking. Viewer discretion is advised. And now, here's your host, Barry Laminack.
What's up, you damn dirty deckheads? Welcome to Barry on Deck. I am your host, Barry Laminack. Thank you guys for being here. Today is Wednesday, January 14th, 2026. And this is episode number 1030 of Barry on the Suspects. What? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Welcome to the program. Hey, hello, hi, how you doing? Today is the best day. We are having a whole show just like the old days. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the program my old co-host from The Usual Suspects, my buddy, your pal. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Blank, everybody. What's up, big dog?
Ooh, what up, H-Town? Hey, how we doing?
Yeah, baby. How you doing, big dog?
We're going to do it for old time's sake. It's been a while. I just put the dust off of it and give it a shot. I'm good, buddy. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just trying to keep rolling and get shit done. I'm excited for this one because you were requested. You were requested to be on this show. I was told, Laminack, get your shit together and get Joel on the show with you. And so we have made that happen. And plus, I mean, you know, the deckheads I've got 1,000 producers of this show. But what they don't know is that you and I had already been talking about doing some shows together. And so hopefully this is the first of many, many, many more to come. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it in the past, and then you don't respond to text messages for like days on end.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that we're very close to kicking something off. Maybe after football gets done kicking off, we'll be ready to kick off our own.
Yeah, it would be pretty dope to do that. So hang tight, ladies and gentlemen. Rudy said, Barry, put your glasses on. You look like twins. No.
I knew someone was going to say that the minute I looked at the split screen.
You think we look like twins, Joe?
Well, I got your glasses, and now you don't have them on, and I've got the wig split haircut that you always have. So aside from me having an 80-year-old man's beard, we're pretty much there.
There. How about that? No. I can't see shit with these on at the computer like this.
Glasses are supposed to help you see, Barry.
Well, it's so I have where I have to have the split because I can't read I'm what do they call it's so nearsighted you can't see far away, farsighted you can't see up close, which is the stupidest. Whoever came up with that is a fucking moron, first of all.
Agreed.
But yeah, so like my whole life I couldn't see far away, right? And then I've wore glasses since I was like 7 or 8 years old. And then about, I don't know, 12 years ago or whatever, I got LASIK. And boy, it was great for about 5 years. And then both astigmatisms came back. And now I can't see far away. And they tell you when you get LASIK, it's going to fuck up your reading vision. And I was like, nah, it's fine. Well, now I can't see far away and I can't see close up. So I'm fucked. So I've got these transition lenses that, you know, the top half I can see far away, but the bottom half is for reading. It's like bifocals inside your. It sucks. So yeah, when I'm doing this, everything looks all wonky. Plus, I don't like the light reflection in my eyes.
That's what bothers me the most because I've been doing Zoom chat interviews and such.
Yeah,
and I hate the fact that because I don't have to have the glasses on. Sometimes I falsely probably think it makes me look studious and more businesslike.
No, it does.
But
It does.
I hate the reflection off the glass.
Yeah, it does. It sucks, and it's because it's distracting. Because people, when you talk, you know that, bro. You've been doing this, talking to the camera thing forever, so you know that you have to look at the camera like it's a person. You have to talk to it like it's a person. And when people see you, they want to see your eyes. And so, yeah, that's just, I just started. I've never done a show with my glasses on, at least not a Barry on Deck show. Never done it with my glasses. It's weird, but I just don't wear them. So, but I think
it's like when you get athletes at press conferences that wear sunglasses. It's annoying as hell.
Oh my God. By the way, did you see what I put on Twitter today as a little warm up? Dude, that was dope. Huh?
I saw which one? I mean, I was the first one to publicize the fact that you have a show that I was going to be on because I didn't expect you to do it. But
I posted two, jackass. The first one was a picture with you interviewing the king. Do you even remember that, Joseph?
Did you steal that? Yes, I remember it. I've been using it on my resume recently as maybe the last fall to try and get in the door with somebody. But did you steal that off my Facebook?
Nope. I got that from Getty Images. Let me put it on the screen for the people. Hold on. I can do this. It takes a second to get shit done around here when you're, solo dolo. But here we go. Look at that. Huh? My boy is into it.
I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I got that one. I don't know if I got that signed yet or signed or not. But so that was the Heat Spurs finals, and the NBA called me. Lisa was pregnant. We were done with the playoffs, and they said, we're working on this concept, Facebook Live from the NBA finals. Would you be interested in hosting? I was like, does it pay? They're like, yeah. I go, when do you need me? And they were like, right? Really? And I go, yeah. And I went back and forth. They actually flew me back in between games because Lisa was pregnant. So I went back and forth from San Antonio and Miami that whole series. That was the Ray Allen 3 right before the buzzer and the Heat winning the championship. I had a lot of fun, and that Facebook Live won a bunch of awards for what we did.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's badass. What kind of awards did you win? Because I just want to find me a friend or a lover that looks at me like you're looking at LeBron right there, because you look like you're smitten.
Well, I think it was right after I told him that Rich Paul shouldn't be speaking for you like a puppet. You should probably just fight your own battles.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was not something. Is he? I mean, you were around basketball players your whole career. Who's the biggest, and not like tall wise? I know Yao would be probably that one or whatever, but some of these cats just like muscle wise just look ginormous.
Man, we had a couple. I think the obvious one was Artest. And when we got Ron Artest, Worrell and I went up. We had the owner's balcony to his office is over the practice court. And so we had the ability to get up there, and we were doing a one-on-one with Ron Artest right after the Rockets got him. And Ron was not a big fan of clothing after practice and such, but we got him to keep his shirt on long enough to go upstairs with us and do an interview. And when he was done, you normally kind of pat him on the back or whatever and say, hey, man, we appreciate you. Thanks. I hit him on the back, and it was like hitting a brick wall.
Really?
And I was like, and I go, hey, man, that's not normally basketball. Like, did you play football? And he goes, no, I was a Golden Glove boxer. And I go, really? He goes, oh, yeah, not just a Golden Glove boxer. I was the Golden Glove champion in New York, not the city, the state.
Okay. Damn.
All right. Mm-hmm. And then the one you wouldn't maybe expect with the story that probably makes it better for you and worse for maybe him and his sometimes intelligence level. Joey Dorsey, big man out of Memphis.
Uh-huh.
Really, really good dude. still a friend. Maybe it won't be after this, but he again was another one of those guys where right after practice he loved to just strip down to basically his shorts, sometimes just his compression shorts,
Oh,
and he would run around and tell the media and anybody that would listen that his aspiration was to do porn.
what?
Yeah. It wasn't, hey, I should have been a tight end and played football. He was looking at tight ends a different way by saying essentially, like, I'm chiseled, I'm rocked up. I should do porn.
That's crazy. Did he have the equipment for it?
Barry, I wasn't a shower stalker,
Okay.
so I would not know.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
if
I
he's
would not
walking
know
around in
that.
compression shorts, it's right there. I mean, I'm not suggesting you're a meat gazer.
If you're not
but
looking for it, the shorts are still doing their job enough that you don't need to get the assessment.
well, look,
I
if
have
a guy
blueberry in
tells
my
me,
teeth. It's
yeah,
killing
you
me.
got that's other side. There you go. There you go.
Is that it?
Oh,
No,
next one.
no.
There you go. Just get some water and rinse it out. What'd you eat? A
I
pack of
have
licorice
water.
before you came
I
on the
just
show?
said- I just said I had a smoothie with blueberries.
Oh, gotcha. Look, if somebody says, I want to do porn, right? And then
Mhm.
they proceed to disrobe down to some tidy whities or whatever. Yeah, I'm going to look because I'm going to be like, hey, don't quit your day job.
That's
okay?
weird.
No, just
That's
I'm not gonna be
really
like,
weird.
Hey, bro, come here. Let me see that. But it's going to
You're
be
like bringing the phrase "how's it hanging" to life. I don't
Yeah.
want to know. I don't.
No, I
care.
just want to here's the thing, Joel. Here's the thing. People with large members do certain things and say certain things that those of us that don't have them don't do, right? Here's the thing. You know what you're never going to hear a dude with a small dick say? Let's go skinny dipping. That's just not a small penis activity. We're never going to suggest it, right? Another one.
Yeah,
I should do porn.
the scared turtle syndrome doesn't work as well. No matter.
Exactly. You're never going to hear a dude with a small penis go, I should do porn. Just not. So when someone says, I want to do porn, I'm like, well, do you have the necessary tools in your bag to complete the task?
You know,
That's all.
You know, Tyreek Hill came out in the last year or two and said that he should. Essentially, his life is porn because he just doesn't stop screwing, whether they're engaged, married, or just dating. And he seems to have kids with all of them.
Oh, God.
He's literally
Jeez.
giving Sean Kemp a run for his money.
Man, ain't that the truth? That's wild.
Oh, and here's another one for you. Just on
okay.
that note, just because
And
you
Brother
brought
Bear,
that
we
up.
don't use
Here's
that
another one.
nickname around here. Hold on real quick, Joel. We don't use that nickname around here, Brother Bear, so knock it off. Go
What
ahead.
nickname?
Sorry.
Oh, so when you mentioned Yao, and we're not going to get into all that, but the aspects you brought up, but Yao,
I've heard
when-
stories.
I've
He's
got-
definitely
yeah,
not
I
yelling,
probably-
let's go skinny dipping.
I probably have told you more than I should have.
You weren't the one that told
but-
me that, but somebody did.
There were just signals and things, and you
Yeah.
don't want to know. But when he was
Dude, the
literally
people
at
want to know,
the,
Joel. This is gonna make up,
I'm-
bro.
I'm sure
if
they
we
do.
want to do a podcast together, you gotta put clips that are gonna make people be like, I gotta watch that. No, I would never.
yeah, there was what Charlie Villanueva was on yesterday on some podcast, and he talked about the best punch he ever seen thrown, and between two teammates, and he said Corey Maggette knocked Kyle Singler out in the middle of the locker room in front of the entire team, and then Andre Drummond, who's still playing in the league, chimes in the next day and goes, "He's not lying. I was there." And I'm like, "Oh my god!"
shit.
And Charlie Villanueva was like, "You don't want to hear this from anybody else." He goes, "Screw it. I don't care." He didn't even say screw it. He goes, "I'll just tell it like I always do." I'm like, "Oh boy, if you're Kyle
Wow.
Singler, that's a great look."
Damn.
The Yao story, when he was at his peak of everybody, obviously everything Yao, and we had all the media in from China and everywhere. We caught a guy one night who, again, was like, I don't know if he was looking for his TMZ porn version of Yao Mania, but
What?
he was stalking Yao by the showers, and he got video and or pictures of Yao, And thankfully, our security saw him, and one of our PR guys saw the guy, and he took off running because he thought he could get away, and he had something. And luckily, between the PR, the security, and the cops, they confiscated it. But like that's how sick people were about just trying to get anything they literally possibly could on Yao.
That is crazy. That's like, is that the only time something like that has happened?
No, no. I mean,
I mean, when you were around, at least.
Yeah, when I was around, like, I mean, no matter where we were on the road, no matter what time of day or night, and especially when we went back to China, I tell people all the time, like, I wasn't alive for the Beatles, but I can tell you what it felt like because we went back to China for 2 games against the Kings in the preseason. And one of the things we were going to do was we were doing a documentary on Yao and obviously in the team. And we went back to his original grade school. And it was a neighborhood, kind of like neighborhoods around here that had a grade school. And we were going on one of those, I would say, obviously, it wouldn't be surprising to you, a short bus, but we were doing one of those kind of half-size minibuses. And there was a driver, and it was Yao, my camera guy, me, some NBA media folks, but not a whole lot of people. And as we got closer to the school, we saw traffic like at a standstill and backed up. And I said to my camera guy, you should probably shoot some of this because this is not normal, I wouldn't think. But because we were getting there kind of earlier, we pulled up. We actually were able to pull up. We got out. It was an outside playground and a basketball court. We did everything. And then after a certain amount of time, we were going to leave and go back to the hotel. Barry, we went back out to the bus. They were a half a mile deep or a half a mile long. They were 6 to 8, maybe 10 people deep the entire way. And we got in the bus and everyone started rocking the bus like they would, like at a rock concert or whatever.
Yeah.
And we all kind of grabbed on to the handles on the seats and were like, this isn't good. And our bus driver freaked out. And this is the greatest part of the story. Yao says, move over. I'll take it from here. And the bus driver's like, what? And he goes, yeah. He goes, just get out of my way. Just let me get in the driver's seat. And Yao drove us the wrong way down the street the school was on so that we could clear the people and the traffic because they were all expecting us to go the opposite way. And then hit the road going the right way. And Yao drove us back to the hotel.
That is crazy, bro. That I couldn't imagine. That's, first of all, that's an insane story. But second of all, I couldn't imagine having to live my life that way. Right? Like, look, when you get into this, man, we all chase a little fame and fortune and notoriety, but there's levels to it. And that is crazy. People trying to get a picture of your Willie in the shower. And that's too much fame.
Even when, like, you would think that, okay, you're not from this country. When you go back home, everybody's used to seeing you, that they wouldn't have that kind of reaction. But just, I mean, every single time he went anywhere, it just, people couldn't get enough of like swarming in on him. And it had to be too much at times because I know that like his happy places were like when we were on the plane or, at practice and at the practice facility because he knew he didn't have to deal with all that.
Yeah, that's just crazy. That's crazy. Well, I appreciate you sharing the story. And no, I'm not. I just want to say for the record, I'm not a meat gazer. All right, I'm not a meat gazer. Kind of sounded like
you were.
I said would. I didn't say did. I've never met anybody that said I should be in porn. And then I wasn't like, well, pull your dick out and let me see it. I didn't do all of that. I'm just saying, if somebody told me that and we're in this situation where they get down to their underwear, I might be like, just like real fast, just like, well, what's he? Don't quit your day job, or oh, you could do it. That's all.
Barry, I want you to go back and now we can review the tape on these kind of things. We don't have to rely on a department that wouldn't know what they were doing to try and get any kind of recaps on audio. You did actually say, I mean, if he's down to his shorts or his compression shorts, you can pretty much check him out and see what he's got.
Yeah. What?
So that kind of has a tendency to lead people a certain way.
Okay. Heartthrob said, "Is Barry checking to see if people have kazoos rather than trumpets?" No, I'm not checking. I'm just, if you tell me I want to do porn, and then you look, I'm not gonna keep going over this. All right, chat, just shut the fuck up. It's just the thing. All right, just a one-time little peek. That's it. All right. If Joel tells me he wants to do porn, I'm checking. You know, that's what I'm going to do.
First of all, I think that those days are probably long behind me, but I know certain conversations I won't be having with you.
Wait a minute. Oh, by the way, hey, Mimi, thank you for resubscribing for 36 months for 46 months, Mimi. You're the best, girl. Much love to you. Yeah, okay. Well, I feel like now I'm being backed into a meat gazing corner, and
I think you kind of backed in yourself.
Yeah, a little bit.
And speaking of backed in, it might be something that, quiet be kept. It might be something that you might be intrigued by.
Brother Bear said, Greg Oden, I hear, Barry. Yeah, that's well known.
Tripod, right?
Yeah, but man, you know what? It's always, I have this theory, and it doesn't mean it's true or not, but I have this theory that if you have certain attributes that, let's just say, set you apart from everybody else, there's deficiencies in other areas, right? Like if you have big muscles, you probably have a tiny wee-wee. If you have a huge wee-wee, you probably are ugly as fuck. I don't know. It's just a theory. And it's not just those two. It's a lot of stuff. It's a give and take.
I thought it was shoe size. I thought they said hand size, shoe size.
I wonder if I've read somewhere that that's not necessarily true, but I'm sure somebody has done a study where they were like, all right, what size shoe do you wear and how big's your ding dong? And then, did a correlation. I'm sure somebody has to have done that.
You have like 6.5 feet, right?
Okay. You know what? I'm not Charlie Little.
Oh, wow. Imagine the shorts.
I know. I wear a solid 9. That's it. But you don't see me running around saying I'm gifted or anything. I know what I am, and I know what I'm not. I am a size 9
You know what a size 9 shoe is, right? It is a sample size.
Okay.
The official men's sample size is a 9.
Well, it's because most men wear a 9.
I'm just letting you know.
Let's see.
Exactly.
What is the common shoe? Well, we're not going to do this for like the world because I did this one time on the show where I was like, I don't know, something that popped up in my feed. So we talked about it. It's like, who has the biggest dick from countries? The Congo, by the way, is the winner. The Congo, number 1 in the world, which we have a lot of deckheads that are big fans of the Congo. So, yeah. But what is the common shoe size for men? Let's see. Damn.
Barry, I know my kicks. I know forever and a day that between all the different shoe companies, their sample size is a 9.
Yes. Okay. It says the common shoe size. What size shoe do you wear? You wear like a 12, don't you?
12.5.
Yeah, because I remember when I went to Nike when I was up in Portland doing a gig, I was going to get you some. Did I get you some shoes? I can't remember.
Yeah, you bought me a couple pairs of 270s.
Yeah, but it says the most common shoe size for men in the U.S. is around a size 10.5, with sizes 9, 10, and 11 being also very popular. So, damn.
Okay.
Let's see. It says a broad range of 9 to 11 comes the majority of men, with larger sizes 12 plus being less common, smaller sizes also decreasing in prevalence. So I'm just like right there in the middle. It's fine. It's fine. That's why I've got to make up for it with humor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Those that don't have jokes.
Huh?
Those that don't have jokes.
That's it. See? That's why I said deficiencies. You make up for it. Like I will just say this. I wear a size 9 shoe. I'm funny. See?
Someone said in the chat, and they remember the shirt that I did when you first started doing Barry on Deck and said maybe that shirt had more meaning.
It could. Very good. Brother Bear said, here's a theory. Ladies with big butts and have small boobs. Conversely, big boob chicks have pancake asses. Thoughts? I don't know.
See, these days it's false advertising because women can fix it a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
They might have small top shelves and they might be able to restock with big cans, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. Yeah, you just don't know. Shut up, B. Shuit. Awake Reaper said beat 9 is right at below average. Shut up. I'm sick of this. Is a stupid conversation. I want to change it right now. I don't want to talk about my shoe size anymore. Oh, look, Mr. 12 and a half will just do this all day. Well, yeah. That does suck, though, if you think about it. Women can get everything fixed. They can be like, you got small titties? We can fix that. No ass? We can fix that. Dudes, you just get what Jesus gave you. That's it. There's no fixing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why you watch all these shows all the time, like Botched and all those other shows, because women are constantly, and they say once they start doing one thing, it never stops.
It's like tattoos, right? It's like you kind of get addicted to it to where like I got to get another and another and another. So I don't know. That's probably why they don't make that surgery for dudes. Because if a dude was like, man, I would just be happy with an extra 2 inches. And then next thing you know, he's like, you know what? Go on and bless it with 2 more and 2 more. And then before you know it, it's out of control. And he has to buy 2 airplane seats. And
plus it the girls, when women do these kind of things, they're knocked out and they've already got the, and so the toughest part is when they're done and they're inserted into the chest, that you just have to massage them. Oh, gee, and that's a tough job. No one's going to volunteer for that, right? But when a dude does it, like, if you got to go down below the belt with anything sharp, that's not something that you're going to recover from quickly. No. And no matter what the results are, the process might be too painful to even consider.
Yeah, when I was very, very young, I had to have a hernia operation. I think I was like, I don't know, 5 or 6. I don't know. But
what the hell were you doing? Powerlifting?
Oh, yeah, bro, at 6 years old.
At 6?
Yeah, man. We had the schoolyard bully, and I was like, I'm going to fuck that dude up. And then I started that Rocky music. But no, this is true. So I had a hernia, and what they had to do was they had to go in, because I think it happened like twice in a year. So they had to go in and basically, I don't know what, like snip something and then pull something. And I don't know. I just remember the pain from the surgery. And that
doesn't sound good at all.
Oh my God. No, it was awful. And now being a grown ass man going through, ain't no way. No,
okay. So the one that I remember when you
too much. Dumbass.
When you were speaking of that stuff, it reminded me of, I remember getting called into the conference room for a potential endorsement sponsorship when we were doing the show. And it was a doctor and his assistant. And I was just like, oh, okay. Well, maybe they're going to do something for either the ladies or who knows, but I'm willing to listen. And then they proceeded to tell me we've got this unbelievable new procedure that basically all it entails is that we stick a needle into the guy's Johnson and that this happens and that happens. And I went, yeah, that's not going to happen. They're like, well, we don't want you to endorse it like you need it or would do it. I go, yeah, I do a show with a predominantly male audience, and I want them to kind of trust me. The last thing they're going to do is trust me if I say, hey, guys, I got an idea for you. You need to go see Dr. So-and-so, and he's going to jam a needle right in your wang. No way.
You'd have lost so many viewers. They've been like, nope, not doing that. That's what, so it was just like to plump it up or what the fuck? What?
Yeah, I was trying to
Well,
remember I don't know if it was either male enhancement or instead of low T
what was his
or,
name again?
I mean, I don't even, yeah, nice try. I don't even remember, but yeah, it might increase your shoe size.
Well, hey, whatever it takes, whatever it takes. Look, Poch said I'm anti needles in the wang. Yeah, that's probably a good place to draw a line. That's probably a good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that. All right, well, we got a lot of shit to get to. Lots to discuss today. You can see most of the topics over there on the far left or right or however you're looking at it. My right, maybe you're right. I don't know. Whatever. But we got a lot of shit to get to. Not a ton of headlines that are really worth going into. But I did see one that I know I could get your feedback on and thoughts on, and it involves the NBA and a guy who just recently got traded. Trae Young has gone through it in Atlanta, got traded to Washington, and is still, quote, recovering from MCL and quad injuries. And they say that he'll be reevaluated after mid-February All-Star break. So he won't be back until at least then. They kind of knew, when they were trading, but you got to feel a little bit like, what are you doing? I mean, they're not contenders, so they're not in a hurry to get him back, but does it just, I'm trying to wrap my brain around what was the point of the trade again?
So the point of the trade, I think, for both teams, as you look at it, is Atlanta realized like the experiment is over. We took a risk. We traded, by the way, traded Luka Doncic for Trae
Heck
Young.
yeah.
If you want to talk about like in the history of a franchise, one that goes on the all-time list, that would be it. But yet he had his moments in the first couple of years. Like he can score.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he might need he might need Dr. Linville in terms of his hair, but other than that,
Worst
like,
hair in the NBA
he can.
besides Kevin Durant?
Oh, well, LeBron's got the whole the
Ooh,
baboon's ass on the back of his head that he keeps covering up.
that's a good one.
You know how you go to the zoo and you see that where the back of the butt looks like the big red mark. And I'm sure you
Yes.
check this stuff out, but yeah, a lot of times that when you're starting to look like that with the whole shiny spot in the back, it's time. I mean, but Trae Young to me has gotten worse every single year he's been in the league because he's been exposed. Because as much as Steph Curry gets exposed in the playoffs, Atlanta found out one that he can't do anything but score and shoot, and that he hasn't been shooting it as well. And then on top of that, when you look at just the totality of the Atlanta franchise, they found a new player that they think is going to be their go-to guy in Johnson. And so the combination of the two and the fact that his contract is coming up and he's going to want $50+ million a year, they were like, we got to cut our losses now, get something for him before it's too late. We should probably trade him. And from a Washington perspective, where they have been just the most pathetic franchise in the NBA for the last
Heck yeah.
2 decades, they essentially said, well, let's see, we don't have to give up any draft picks because we know all our draft picks we need and they're going to be really good. We give up a guy like CJ McCollum, who is way past his prime, making probably too much money, and maybe you can move him on to get something else, but he's not doing anything for us short or long term. And then Kispert, who was a guy that was drafted highly from a previous regime, and there's another guy that he can shoot it a little bit, but he's never really lived up to expectations. So you give up two dudes that no draft picks, and you get a guy that you might be able to re-sign and get probably cheaper than franchise price. And he said he wanted to go there, so you take a chance.
Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't make. I mean, you saying it that way, it makes sense. But when you just see a bad team trading for a guy that you just know ain't going to be it, right? He's at this point in his career, I think Trae Young is going to be a good complementary piece. He's just never going to be the centerpiece for a franchise. But then, like you said, Washington's been ass for a while now, and so I guess when you suck, you make suck decisions. I don't know. Real
Well,
quick.
they have. I
Go
think
ahead.
that's the problem. They're trying to get over the fact that for again two decades they've made a whole lot of bad decisions, and so keep your draft picks, start it from scratch yet again, but this time try not to make the same mistakes for the fifth time.
Yeah, try not to be dumb. Total Dallas, thank you for the $10 super chat. By the way, Chewy got a
Hey.
3-stream streak. Thank you. Jet on Twitch resubscribed for 13 months. Thank you. And Nasty Nate resubscribed for 43 months. What's going
Hey,
on?
I got
You
a
good?
FedEx delivery. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll ask you this super chat when you get back. Let's see. I'm just catching up in the chat here. If it could give me a couple more inches, I'd be into it. See? No. I did see one time this guy was trying to stretch his dong out by tying a weight to it. Oh, what? Oh, what? No, thank you. Literally, he was like, yep, I do this every day. Just tie like a 2-pound dumbbell, or not a 2-pound dumbbell, but like a flat weight, you know, the one with the circle that you put on the bar. Yeah, he would just tie a string to that, tie it to the end of his dong and hang it off there, hoping to stretch it. I'm like, listen, just make up for it with technique or, you know, something else. Learn how to use your mouth or hands good. I don't know, but I'm not doing all that. That's crazy. Hey, what up, Jay John? John said, I step away from sports radio and now just learning that Joe Blank isn't at ESPN anymore. Are they turning into the Cleveland Browns of radio? Great question, John. Look, I won't like speak ill of the dead. Okay, not appropriate. Listen, I'm not going to dog shit and talk bad about them. I'll just say this. In my opinion, just a personal opinion, but in my opinion, they've made some pretty bad decisions over several years. Okay? Now, that said, I did say this a while back when actually they let Joel go. Joel, the question was asked in the chat. Somebody said,
Apologize for that.
No, you're good. Somebody said, I step away from sports radio and now just learning that Joel isn't at ESPN anymore. Are they turning into the Cleveland Browns of radio? And I said, look, I'm not going to talk shit. I'm not going to dog my former employer. But I did say when they let you go. And Paul Gallant, I was like, look, at some point you just have to own the fact that if you don't have the budget to keep good talent, and at one point I'll say, and I don't mind saying it, but at one point when we had our show on there and everybody, we had the best lineup in the city, hands down, from start to finish. And if you can't make money with that, how are you going to make money? And so I don't think that they're necessarily the Cleveland Browns of radio. They might be the Enron in that they don't manage their money correctly, but there's been so much talent that has come and gone from that station that sometimes instead of looking at the talent, I don't know, maybe look at the sales team, maybe look at some other stuff because it was never a talent issue at ESPN.
Oh,
Just
absolutely
my
not.
opinion. And I said that back when they let you go, so I don't mind saying it again.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing you look at was it performance driven? But the fact that it wasn't performance driven, okay, I can live with that. But the thing that really hurt me the most when walking away from it was it probably never should have happened, to exactly what you were talking about. Like our lineup, and I still to this day believe this, and I've voiced this to David Gow himself, to people very close to him and people close to us and people in between, that it was never about the product or the lineup. And you said sales. I think it goes a step further. It was about the signal. I mean, if we had a signal, even if we had to go to AM, if we went to AM and we had a signal that was, and I'm not going to say it was there, 790 is a great signal, but if we had a 610 or a 790 signal, we would be number one in the market in sports talk. And because of the fact that we had a great lineup and we weren't afraid to say what we felt about any team, player, situation in the city, and we had no one slapping our wrist with a ruler to say we couldn't talk about it. And it goes back to my days even with the Rockets when I would meet with both the heads of 610 and 790, And I'm working for the Rockets now. I'm not doing radio. So this isn't even involving me. But I'm throwing the idea out back in the day. And you and I have had this conversation where I said, hey, you guys, and each station had the cluster. You guys each have a cluster where you have 5, 6, 7 stations. If you took one of your FMs that had a solid signal and you made it sports, you would make more money and you would have better ratings than whatever is on that station, and probably more than most of your other stations in your cluster. And they kept pushing back. And I'm like, look at Boston, look at New York, look at all the, look, even smaller big cities. When you have an FM sports station, you're knocking it out of the park. And we just never fixed our signal, and adding a second signal over the years, 92.5, 94.5. It basically told you without telling you, we got a signal problem.
Yep. Yep. Fact. And look, even with that, how many books did we win? How many books did John and Lance win? Did Fred and AJ win? I mean, the opportunity to make money was always there. Signal be damned, and I understand what you're saying, but the fact is there was plenty of opportunities to cash in on the talent that you had, and they just didn't do it. And that's,
well, look at what you're doing now and what you have absolutely killed it with this show. The fact that you could have been ahead of the game and gone, okay, well, if we're not going to pay the extra money to get the right signal, then what we need to do is we really have an internet-driven focus, and we need to make sure we monetize it. How do we monetize it? Well, we keep track of every viewer and every click and every podcast and every replay of everything that we do, and we say, hey, look, you're looking for all of our signal results as you go through some marketing company that's trying to tell you whose signal is the strongest. I can tell you that when you watch our show and listen to our show, we can put in front of you, this many people are watching it live, this many people are watching it after the fact, and you could have a piece of that pie, which thus would give us a piece of the pie to stay on air.
Yep. So I hope that answers the question. Now, on YouTube, by the way, for those of you watching on YouTube, we're also live on Twitch. For those of you watching on Twitch, we're also live on YouTube, so you can get the show either place. But Total Dallas sent in a $10 super chat. Thank you, Total Dallas. And he had a question for you. Ask the Hammer.
Okay.
Should Kyrie come back hard and the team shoot for playoffs, or come back easy and look for the next year?
Wasn't this the chat we just had with what you were looking at?
No, this is not a discussion about Kyrie's ding-dong. This is about his
Well, he
effort.
said, should Kyrie come back hard? I'm just wondering if that's part of his rehab. I think, and TD, appreciate you. The biggest thing for me with the Dallas Mavericks is they've basically got to turn the page and they got to start planning for the future with Coop. I think the chance to chase a championship and everything that Nico tried to set up is gone, because Anthony Davis now has a hand injury for the guy that, shockingly enough, has another injury where he just can't stay healthy. I think if AD was healthy, and the fact that you have Cooper Flag, and the fact that you have, Gafford, and you've got some big guys, and you've got talent around enough with supporting cast and guys, that Kyrie Irving on that team infuses probably another score, a missing link. The West is wide open. There's 5-6 teams that could win it this year in the West, as good as Oklahoma City started out playing. Then you say, I want Kyrie to come back as soon as possible, because I think if I pair him with Anthony Davis and the veteran-laden team that we have, and I add a young guy like Coop, I think we can play with anybody. But now that you're not going to have Anthony Davis, I think you go the other direction and you say, I'd like to trade Anthony Davis, but if he's not going to be ready for 2 months, I need to find a veteran team that's willing to stay relevant until they get him, and then hope they can make a push. But I think that from a Dallas perspective, it's the full reset. So if I'm Kyrie, I'm in no hurry to come back this year.
You know what's crazy to me? One, I mean, the Luka trade was crazy, right? We all know that. There's no denying that. But it's not like he got back a bunch of scrubs for Luka. The problem was the guy that he picked to trade for can't stay healthy. I just wonder had it been anybody else, right? And I'm not suggesting even Trae Young, but because Trae Young is hurt when he got traded. But if they could have traded for somebody, not even like, there was the discussion of Giannis in Milwaukee and stuff like that. But that's like elite level superstar for elite level superstar. And AD is not that, but he's in the next category down when healthy. But if they could have found somebody else in the next category that plays, did you think Nico keeps his job because they're on the court? Because look, you say what you want, but there was a moment when after the trade, that was the Rockets that played Dallas, and for about 2.5, 3 quarters,
Oh yeah,
whoo, shit, the Mavs looked nasty.
it was Anthony Davis's first game, and he got hurt before halftime.
Yep.
But he was absolutely kicking the crap out of him. But I think it gets to the bigger, and I think I came on your show to talk about it. But it gets to the bigger issue of you didn't shop him around. You were worried that the word would get out, and I think that of all things, the Rob Lowe lookalike in Rob Pelinka, he manipulated the absolute shit out of Nico Harrison.
Yeah.
Because he kept saying, "Hey man, we got to do this quick, and we got to keep it quiet, and no one can find out, and we got to do this, but you got to do this." And then he pushed all the right buttons. He basically controlled the entire situation. And at the end of the day, he stole one of the best players in the league for pennies on the dollar because Nico didn't play the market enough to say, I need everybody that's interested to give me their best offer, last and final, right now. I'm going to make a decision within 30 minutes to 30 hours, but I'm going to weigh it all. I'm going to look at it all. And regardless of who I go with, I know I'm getting it all. And instead, he got played. He gave away the farm. He took a guy that we all knew was damaged goods. And if he wasn't damaged now, he would be very shortly. And then again and again and again. Charles and Shaq, I forget the nickname they have for him. It's like the big injury report or something like that. But, I mean, he's never healthy. And he doesn't do anything in the offseason to try and fix it. It's like Zion and his weight and his foot. At a certain point, it's on you, if you can't stay healthy, to try and figure out why, what I can do differently, and how do I fix it. But he let Rob Pelinka play him, and that's why he lost his job.
Man, and played he got. That's just a fact. By the way, through all of this, AD has a new shoe out. Anthony Davis
Does it
has
look like a cast?
shoe out. There it is. There's the
There
81s.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the new. I had to get me a pair of those. Those look very futuristic.
I mean, you don't have to worry about support. I can tell you that.
It's all there. And I heard that if you're the first 1,000 to buy them, it comes with a set of crutches. All right. That's just so. All right, let's get into some foosball, because one of the folks that requested you to be on this show was my sweet, sweet Donna. She loves you. She loves me. She loves the suspects. She loves Barry on Deck. But she wanted to get you on the show because, she wanted your thoughts on the Packers and what happened and LaFleur and everything else. So you being the Packer fan that you are, plus, a guy who has opinions on sports, let's talk about this past football weekend. Let's start there. What were your thoughts on what happened and what's next for them?
I mean, besides throwing things around and getting far too animated in front of my children, who are also animated because we have Bears fans as friends that were basically talking too much leading into it. So my kids were looking forward to kind of giving it back. And it was tough to take. And I think that there were I retweeted a couple tweets, but if you're a Packer fan, based on just the first 2 games of the year with the Bears, that lead at halftime wasn't enough. And every single point, the field goal when he makes the first one, but they called timeout, and then he misses the next one. And you can go on, but you're like, you know what? You just never felt safe. You never felt comfortable. You never felt like you were out of the woods. And then you kind of just went, oh God, here we go again. And it's the Bears. So it's an extra, kick in the jimmy. And you kind of just go, what the hell? And then all my Packer buddies back home
Ugh.
started texting me.
Uh-huh.
And the first thing they said is LaFleur's going to get canned. He can't survive this. And I've been a big fan and advocate of LaFleur, as you know, because I hated the fact that Rodgers would never let him be the play caller that he was. And since Rodgers has gone, their play calling has been really good. But when you look at their playoffs, it's kind of like when we talk about the real true judge and testament of a team and a player is how do they do in the postseason when everything matters. And you look at it and say, well, 5 of the last 6 years, they crapped the bed. And in those 5 losses, they had a lead in every game. And that's a major problem. So I was, by the end of the night, convinced that maybe it would be the right move because everybody would want that job, that he should go. And then you hear the next morning through Schefter that they're working on an extension. And the one thing that's interesting is, and I know Schefter has touched on this, is that he said the deal isn't done. Well, there's no hurry to get it done if both sides are on the same page. They want to get it done. And LaFleur has said it's the greatest place on the planet to coach football, and this is where I want to be. Well, I think the Packers will probably try to get some leverage and say, but you haven't gotten it done, so we're not going to pay you this or that. I think at the end of the day, it gets done, but I think what they have to do to go forward, the roster was better than the Bears. I don't care what you say. If you look at it from a statistical perspective, you don't want to hear that from me. In the first 2 regular season games, Barry, the Packers led for 1 hour and 17 minutes, and the Bears led for 0.
Wow.
Okay? The Bears went up in the opening drive of the playoff game 3-0. They did not lead again till under 3 minutes. So you can't tell me, and the Packers had way too many injuries, but you can't tell me the Packers aren't a better team on paper. So I think that if you do retain him, you have to look at, I maybe need an offensive coordinator. I hate saying this because I think he's a smart guy, but this is much like what happened in Denver when they gave Nathaniel Hackett the head coaching job and then realized he didn't know, and Texans fans know this with Culley and all they went through. You might need a coach that just tells him, this is when you call timeouts. This is when you throw the challenge flag. This is how you manage a game. Because the other stat that just absolutely slapped me in the face was when they built the 21-3 lead, they ran 15 plays under center and 11 plays out of the shotgun. In the second half, they ran 5 total plays with Jordan Love under center, and they ran 6 total running plays. If you don't run the football, then you're not running the clock. And you don't know football if you're up 18 points and don't know that's what you need to do.
Okay, but let me ask you this, just playing devil's advocate here. And you're right, because let's tie it into something, right? One of the most famous either comebacks or disasters in Super Bowl history saw the Falcons blow a 23-point lead. Whatever it was.
28-3.
28-3 and lose. And everybody blamed, obviously, the head coach. But the fact of the matter is, if the offense hands you a 21-3 lead at half, shouldn't the defense have some culpability for that? Not just play calling, and I get it, you want to run the clock and you want to, all valid points, but at the end of the day, the offense literally, and in fact, going into the fourth quarter, it was 21-6. You had one quarter that you had to prevent the Bears from getting to what they scored 25 points in the fourth quarter. If they only score 21 points, the Packers win. If they only give up 3 touchdowns. So
and they don't miss 2 field goals. And
yeah,
I get all that, Barry, but here's the thing. Okay, my answer, my retort to that would be, you're already playing without Micah Parsons. You're playing without Devontae Wyatt, who's their best nose guard, who is a run stopper. You're actually playing without 3 defensive tackles. You're playing without Micah Parsons. You're playing with either guys that are coming back from injury and probably too soon because they're trying to replace Micah Parsons. But Edgerrin Cooper, who most people around here might know because he was a hell of a linebacker at A&M, was their best interior linebacker. He went out with a concussion at halftime. And suddenly everything changed because now, even if you wanted to be more aggressive, you didn't have the same level of talent to be able to execute it. So
fair.
He was basically, but I do think that, yeah, they went a little bit too much zone. They went a little too much prevent. Could you have tightened those things up? But their secondary wasn't playing great either. I think the first thing that you're going to see going into next year is, is that the focus is, one, going to be on depth, and two is going to be that this team with a few tweaks here and there defensively could, because when Parsons was on the field, they were one of the top 3 defenses in the league, and those guys weren't hurt yet. I think if they come back healthy, you'll see a different version of that team.
Behan pointed that out in the chat. 0-5 without Parsons.
Yeah, they lost 3 or 4 in a row to end the season. It was awful.
Do you think this Bears team stands a chance against the Rams?
I don't.
Yeah.
I think the best chance that the Bears have of beating the Rams is the weather, because you already got Stafford with a bad finger, and so his grip's going to be compromised, and now you put him in snow, and you saw what happened, and they still had a chance. Well, but he didn't have a finger problem, and they almost beat Philadelphia last year. I think short of just an absolute disaster weather-wise, I think the Rams are also more talented than the Bears, and I think that I don't give the Bears much of a chance to beat the Rams.
Yeah, and well, I agree with you first of all, but that's what was interesting about the Rams wild card game against the Panthers. That should have been a blowout. You know, that should have been an absolute blowout on paper and by all statistical measures, and it wasn't. I mean, it was a really close game. So one, props to the Panthers, but two, it kind of makes you wonder, are there holes in the Rams that maybe we're not seeing? Because a lot of people feel like the Rams, have what it takes to be a Super Bowl team. But when you see them
I think
barely beat the Panthers, it's like, well, are they?
But I think here's the thing. Green Bay lost to Carolina in the regular season, and everybody said it was the worst loss of the entire NFL schedule, until you realize Carolina's defense is really good.
Yeah.
And Carolina's defense can play with just about anybody. And so then when you get a situation where you realize their receivers are pretty good, their running backs are pretty good, and they can keep you in the ball game enough that as long as your defense has a chance, that you're not going to get your doors blown off, and they have a chance to beat you. And I think that's what you saw, to your point, that's what you saw in the playoffs. Like even in the Tampa Bay game, they just hung around and their defense was good. And all it took was a mistake here or there in a close one-score type game, and they could take advantage of it. And I think that's how they lived their entire season. So at the time that the Packers lost to Carolina, I was grossly embarrassed, and I thought, this is one that you're going to look back on and say, how bad was that? At the end of the year, when you look back, it wasn't that bad of a loss. They made the playoffs, and they actually got better every year, and their defense was good.
Yeah. So let's switch gears. Let's jump right into what I think most people watching this would want to talk about. And real quick, let me throw this out that Heartthrob said in the chat. He said the Bills barely snuck past Jacksonville. Do they stand a chance against Denver? And who would Houston rather face if they get past Drake May? So that's a two-part question. I'll let you go first. Go ahead.
I would say that they not only have a chance, for people, again, that are going to shit on the Buffalo Bills for being the 6th seed and beating the 3 seed in their building. I think that their quarterback proved, as much as yahoos that are out there on local talk radio saying Josh Allen will never win a Super Bowl and he's not this and he's not that. Guess what? He's not Lamar Jackson. He can absolutely put a team on his shoulders all by himself and give you a chance to win a football game. And when you need him the most in the final 2 minutes of a game, he takes you right down the field. And not only does he get you what you need, but he's the main reason. And even on a tush push, he gets 7 to 8 yards and shows you that he is a big, strong, mean MFer that is hard to tackle. Yeah. So now you tell me you go to Denver, and the biggest thing he's got to worry about is altitude. But if it's cold, they play in it. They're used to it. They're not scared of it. You got a quarterback that's never been there. You got a coach that I think most people, especially after if you saw the press conference that Sean Payton had this week, that you're rooting against. But yeah, their defense is good. But I don't think that should scare anybody if you're a Buffalo fan. I think Buffalo's got more than a puncher's chance against Denver. I think that personally, I think they're going to beat the Broncos. Now, if you tell me who does the Texans want to play, it depends on where it's played. But because the Texans would host the game, I naturally want a playoff game in Houston if I'm the Houston Texans. Because offensively, I think this team struggles in cold weather. And I know it was cold in Pittsburgh. CJ looked like shit. So I want to give CJ every chance to, one, hang on to the football, two, avoid turnovers, and three, maybe have some success offensively that can help you because your defense is going to carry you. I think it's much easier to do that in a controlled environment like NRG at home, and you don't have to worry about noise and crowd and everything else. And that's why I would rather play at home against Buffalo in terms of, from a Texans perspective, because of the fact that the Texans have owned and been the kryptonite of Josh Allen the last 3-4 times they played him.
Yeah,
But
and
be careful
so,
what you wish for, because he's hot right now.
Yeah, that's the scary part. Is I don't know that it's one of those, I guess you're splitting hairs in a way, right? Do you want to play Denver? Look, Denver's offense isn't great. They do just enough. It's like the Texans. The Denver Broncos and the Houston Texans, you could literally just swap logos, I think, because both of them have great defenses, but offensively they do just enough that allows their defense to win games for them. And I think that's what you've seen with Denver. I know we've seen it here in Houston with the Texans. I've said all season that Texans offense doesn't deserve that defense. Now in Denver, it feels like Bo Nix is good. I don't think he's like a Drake May yet, but he's good. But that they do just enough, right? And so that's on the one hand. New England is scary for a lot of reasons, but Walt, one of the deckheads, pointed out, he goes, man, New England didn't beat anybody with a record above 500 in the regular season. And that made me go, what? I looked up, I was like, damn, that's crazy. Now, obviously, they win their playoff game, but it was like, ooh, they really aren't battle-tested. And then you have Buffalo, and everyone loves to say that the Texans are have the Bills' number and everything, but I'm with you. You don't want Josh Allen one game from a Super Bowl and you have to beat him. That's a scary thing. So I don't know that I would want to play the Bills, but I'm with you. Of the three, if it means I get a home game versus going on the road to Denver or going on the road to New England, I'll take the Bills and take my chances. Because they've beaten them in the past. They've proven that. But
and look at Buffalo, period. You've lost Von Miller in the past. You've lost Diggs. You've lost some of your best players. And your quarterback continues to ball out. Your quarterback won MVP. Your quarterback carries your ass. You can't put this on Josh Allen like everybody wanted to do. Oh, he can't beat Mahomes. He can't win the big one. Well, guess what? If there was anybody, it's like Gary Payton and the Sonics, or these other teams that Karl Malone and John Stockton. If you didn't have Michael Jordan staring you in the face every time you had a chance to get there, you probably would have won multiple championships. So sometimes you just got to tip your cap to the other side and say, Josh Allen didn't cower and go away in a playoff game that went to overtime, and because of the rules, he lost because he didn't have the ball last. But since his team has gotten lesser in some certain regards, he's gotten better. I don't know how you want to play that, but of the two choices, I'd rather have the home game.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. So let's talk about that Texans Steelers game. I got to say, first of all, I just knew they were going to lose that game. And the reason is because I had a 6-leg parlay that I bet. And I never do this. I just did it for some of the entertainment value and just content and talking on the show and stuff. But I went ahead and did a 6-leg parlay that I had picked the first 5 games right. All I needed was the Texans to beat the Steelers. And I was like, well, that ain't going to happen now. And not because they can't, but because that's all I need to hit this parlay and make $340. Well, they went out and did the job, and people across the country can't stop gushing about this defense that we've seen play every single week. We know how good that defense is. Do you think that they can legitimately, does this team have a chance at, I won't even say winning, but getting to a Super Bowl with the offensive deficiencies that they have, but that defense and how stellar it is?
There's no question. I absolutely do. And we've seen it. I mean, if you look at the history of the NFL, you go back to Peyton Manning when he literally could not throw the ball 30 yards down the field, but the Denver defense was so good, they won a Super Bowl. You look at the two Ravens teams, one led by, yes, Joe Flacco, the other by Trent Dilfer, but their defense was so damn good that they carried the entire process and they won. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when they had Brad Johnson as a quarterback, their defense was so damn good that they just weren't going to lose. And there's nothing that says in a wide open AFC where we just said the guy that was basically the two guys that were the Texans' kryptonite, Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, and the referees who help Patrick Mahomes, they have nothing to do with this playoffs. And Joe Burrow, who a lot of people say is the third best quarterback or the fourth best quarterback, nothing to do with it. The one guy that actually has experience is the guy that you have gotten the best of in the playoffs and in the regular season for the last several years. Everybody else, as good as they might have been in the regular season with Knicks, with Drake May, okay, show me something. Like, show me when it gets, the lights get brighter, the stage gets bigger. Yeah, you won your first playoff game if you're New England. You haven't done anything yet if you're Denver. That doesn't scare me at all because this defense, and with 2 scores, this defense is either going to put you in a position to score or potentially score themselves. The one thing, this is why, because the line played so good and everybody said, what a great running game. Well, the running game doesn't happen without an offensive line that's finally looked like a viable offensive line. Even the CJ plays where he turned the ball over, it wasn't because he was about to get sacked. It was because there was a mishap with the snap. If this game and their chance to get to an AFC championship and or a Super Bowl, both of places they've never been before, is completely 150% on one guy. It's on CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I think they can win in spite of CJ Stroud, and that sounds crazy to say, but he's just not having the type of year that he had his rookie season. But the one thing that impressed me, and it goes back to what you were saying about the offensive line and stuff, they had 164 yards rushing. Steelers were 13th best in football at stopping the run. They were giving up 113 a game. So not great, but by no means were they awful at stopping the run. So for the Texans, who I wouldn't say were really known for being able to run the ball, right? I mean, that's just not what, let me see, what was their rushing yards per game? Pretty abysmal, 108 a game. So that's like bottom third in the league. So for them to kind of flip the script, put up 164 yards of rushing, and that was a breath of fresh air. Some of it's play calling, some of it's offensive line. But I look at this box score and I see, when you look at team stats, and obviously the big one is turnovers. 3 turnovers. I mean, you turned over the Steelers twice. One of them was that interception at the end of the game. It doesn't matter, right? But one of the things that you're not going to beat a Denver, or you're not going to beat a Buffalo, and you probably ain't beating the Patriots if you're turning the ball over 3 times and are loosey-goosey with it the way he was the other times that didn't get turned over. That's what scares me. They've got to clean up all of that. And so this defense, can it carry them? Yeah, I think so, because there's times when this defense scores more than the offense does. But as you get further along, these teams get better at, that's what makes Drake May and Bo Nix so good right now, is they don't turn the ball over a lot. Josh Allen used to, but he doesn't now.
Let me ask you a legit question on that.
Yeah.
And I want your honest opinion.
Okay.
Do you think do you think that Drake May is playing what? Can we judge what happened in that god-awful game against the Chargers and say that he was the same guy that he even was in the regular season, or that he's a guy that you have to fear going into the next round of the playoffs? Because he did his job. Was he impressive? No, not in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that one defense, right, was the Chargers defense is really good. So credit where credit is due. They're not as good as the Texans, so that's kind of makes you go, oh, okay. They still got the job done. But I think it was a little bit of, yeah, I agree with you that he didn't look great, but also you're going to have a bad game every once in a while, especially against good defenses. And
it's his first playoff game ever.
Huh?
It's his first playoff game ever.
Yeah. And how good that, how your defense responds and picks you up, which we've seen all year with the Texans. that New England defense can absolutely do that. And that's what I think that they did in this case. I looked it up real fast while you were saying. Drake May had the highest quarterback rating in football. That's crazy. He had a 113.5
in the regular season.
In the regular season.
Yeah,
better than Matthew
that's what I'm saying.
Stafford, better than Jared Goff, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, all of them, all the way down the line. He had a 113.5. Second closest was Matthew Stafford at a 109.2. So,
well, there's your
31
MVP
touchdowns,
candidates,
8
right?
interceptions is great, right? 72% completion percentage is bananas. And only threw 8 interceptions to his 31
But that's
touchdowns.
why I asked you the question just based on what happened against the Chargers. I know what he did in the regular season, but it also comes up to something you just brought up, which is they didn't play anybody. Now, you don't make the schedule, and you can't predict how the other teams are going to be on your schedule, so you just play the schedule you're given. I get all that. But that's why it's also an issue with the MVP. The two guys you rattled off are the two favorites for MVP. The difference being the Niners had a really tough schedule and a tough division. The Rams did with the Niners, another playoff team that's still playing, and the Seahawks, the number 1 seed in the conference. So that's where May has better regular season numbers slightly. Stafford has a tougher schedule against better teams. So now it's pick your poison. But to me, I don't give a shit about any of that come playoff time. I need to know, can you do what your team needs you to do to get to the ultimate prize? And what he did last week doesn't scare me because I think, to your point, I think the Texans defense is better than Chargers. I think the Texans defense is going to give them even more of a problem. Now, and both teams have weapons. It comes down to who turns the ball over less and who's able to be efficient enough or score enough offensively between the two teams. I think that's as simple as this game is if you're watching this Texans-Patriots game.
You know, one thing that I just noticed that jumped out to me that I think actually, because I'm with you, and you know, it's this is the part of this business that I hate is like you feel like you kind of regurgitate the same things over and over, but it's true when you say if you take care of the ball and you don't turn it over and you do, you know, certain things. It feels cliche to say it, but it's 100% true. If you go back and look, this is why coaches say it, players say it, and pundits say it. But Drake May was sacked 47 times in the regular season, 4th most in the NFL. That right there might be the key and the difference between the Texans winning and losing this game. If they can get to a guy who was sacked the 4th most during the regular season, and they absolutely have the personnel to do it, that might really be the difference. Damn stopping the run, but that right there.
But you also got to live up to your half of the bargain, and it can't be a one-and-done situation with how good your offensive line played. You need Ursery and Brown on the ends and everybody in between to tread water and hold their own yet again, because New England's got a pretty decent defense too. So now, again, you're right. That's a factor just as much as whoever doesn't turn it over and whoever quarterback plays better are key. I think you're right. Whoever gets home more and is able to put pressure on the quarterback defensively probably going to have a huge advantage.
And this is the scary part is the Patriots that Chargers game. They allowed 5 sacks and lost 33 yards. And May threw 1 interception, but even with all of his greatness that is Justin Herbert, they were sacked. The Chargers were sacked. He was sacked 6 times. So they actually lost the sack battle, and it's like, oh shit. Well,
but let's also
know the
because I had
Texans
someone
are
bring that up
susceptible
to
to
me.
that. So I mean, you could be watching a replay of New England's first game, 16-3. Not a lot of scoring, but the fact that the offense could look really inept is that's what concerns me. Obviously,
The problem for the Chargers, where everybody, because I had buddies that were wanting to shit all over the Chargers and say how inept their offensive line is. Well, when you have a top 5 first-round pick at one tackle position and one of the best other tackles in the league, and both of them go down before week 3, I can't put that on the Chargers and say, boy, their offensive line sucked and they didn't do enough to fortify it. You can't predict when injuries happen. But if you lose 2 of your cornerstone tackles and you expect them to block good teams in the playoffs, again, like you said, you can survive in the regular season and get to the playoffs. But when it comes to winning time, your injuries are going to play a factor, and especially if you don't focus enough on depth as a general manager. And the Chargers were, I think, better than expected to get to the playoffs and do what they did with a makeshift offensive line because of the two guys they lost.
Yeah, it's all really good points. Jeff Bell, our resident Broncos fan, was like, "I'm here and I'm all ears. I'm listening. What you got?" And hey, B Hannon, appreciate you. He said about to lose y'all. No cellular data right now with Verizon. We'll go back and listen. Appreciate you, brother. Hey, what's up, AR Platinum? AR Platinum said, "No way any QB wants to play this defense. I think it's like Mike Tyson, where we're in their head before it even begins." Not a bad point. I don't think you want to play this defense, but if you're the opposing team, you're licking your chops playing this offense. But again, 164 yards of rushing, that shocked me. That was that I was more surprised about that than anything else, including the fumbles and the miscues by CJ.
I think I would look at it differently in the fact that what I think that they did, winning as much as they did, the way that they won down the stretch, I think that they intentionally played a three-headed monster at running back with Chubb and Jordan getting a lot of the carries and taking them from Woody Marks. But I think that they knew damn well come playoff time, Jawar Jordan wasn't going to be in the mix. That you've got a thunder and lightning combination. Marks was going to be your number one. Chubb was going to be your number two. And that they were fully capable of at least giving you the balance you need as an offense by providing some run. So I don't think that I was as concerned about the running game. The only thing that can derail that would be if your offensive line was shit. Yeah. And it wasn't. And I think that to all the people that want to criticize Caserio and say he didn't plan enough with depth and the guys that he brought in, Trent Brown might be the biggest single guy that was the key to why this offensive line played the way it did down the stretch and the way it did in Pittsburgh. Because Trent Brown is 6'6", 390. And when he got cut in the cuts before they opened the season and said, no, I'm going to stay on the practice squad, that told you everything you need to know. Like, if Trent Brown can play, he only wants to play here. And if he can play anywhere like he played in New England, he is a difference maker just because of the mountain of a man he is with his experience. But he has been literally huge, not just size-wise, but his ability to hold his own and do his job is the key reason why you can move Howard inside. And Ursary, again, great draft pick. I mean, this is, again, a team that when you look at Caserio, people want to take shots. You didn't have a first-round pick, and your first four picks, second, third, and fourth round, all not only made the roster, they're all contributing. Because Woody Marks is that dude. Ursary is that dude.
Yep.
I mean, those are great picks.
Perry, his mob name is Pew Pew, but Perry said Texans rush for another 160, put them in the championship game. Hey, your mouth to God's ears. Listen, Joel, let's take a quick break. I'm gonna go use the restroom. I'm gonna go use the little boy's room. You
measure?
No, just
look
pink.
At it.
That's all. Yeah, just pink. Thank you for lurking, CC. So let's take a quick little break. Just a couple minutes. We'll come back because I want to get your thoughts on how do you think this team fares without Nico Collins. He's in the concussion protocol. That's
I got a good take on that for
loss. So let's talk about that. And you brought up something that I didn't know, but I want to talk about it. It's on the list here. Be someone who can drive. A little non-sports action. And before we get out of here, I want to get your thoughts on what happened in the media this past weekend in Jacksonville after the loss. So let's get to all that after this quick little break. All right. We're going to go hit the head, and Joel's, I don't know what he's going to do. He'll probably just, I don't know.
Don't let it hit back.
Package. He's going to go check his package, and we'll be back right after
this.
Look. This is Barry on deck. I'm Barry. That's Joel. We'll be back right after this. Stick around. Hi, welcome back to Barry on the Suspects. The Suspect Deck. Welcome back to the Suspect. Okay, I don't know what the fuck to call it. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the program. We've got about 20 minutes left to get to all the topics. So Joel, as soon as he's back with us, we'll get back to it. But thank you guys. I'm glad everybody's enjoying the show. It's been nice. I'll say that. It's been great having him here and you guys. It is kind of, some of you are saying in the chat, it's kind of like old times. It really does feel that way. So this has been super dope. And I hope, welcome back to Sus Barry. No, I'm not sus. I am not sus. I certainly am not sus. The suspect blotter. What? Chris Gary said, call it the suspect blotter. I don't know what that means. All right. We've got him back now. Welcome back, Joseph Blank. Oh, you're getting close.
Thanks for having me.
Every time you get up and leave and come back, I have to adjust the camera. I need you to put an X on the floor, park your ass on it, and don't move.
I have a desk chair with rollers.
Okay.
And I have a dog blanket under said rollers to where it doesn't roll very easily. So that's what you see when I get the chair situated.
Rudy Rod said, because I was like, I don't know what to call this. This is Barry on the Suspects, the Suspect Deck. He said Suspects on the Deck. We'll work on it. It's a work in progress. All right, Joel, before we took a quick break, I wanted to bring it up real quick because, as you know, from this last game with the Texans, Nico Collins left the game early. Didn't seem to affect him. Shout out Christian Kirk for having his best game ever as a Texan when they needed it the most. But your thoughts on going up to New England without Nico Collins?
So here's the biggest thing that I don't think I've heard anybody mention yet. I'll mention it here first. Then I will be doing a point blank on exactly this topic tomorrow morning, if not sooner. The NFL, if you don't think in the past, has been nothing but money grubbing, money focused as a league, just showed you that they are shitting all over the Houston Texans and nobody else. And all you need to do is look at exactly what you just said, Barry, in Nico Collins, okay? If I'm any of the other teams that are still in the playoffs and one of my guys gets a concussion, I get an extra day. I get an extra day to be able to prepare with the chance that there might be a possibility that he plays. You already punished the Texans because of the two teams playing on Monday night, only one of them was going to survive. So regardless of whether you played Saturday or Sunday, you are going to be at a disadvantage against no matter who you played. And that's before you even factor in who has home field advantage, and in this case, the Patriots do. So the Patriots sat at home where they will stay at home, and they got an extra day of rest and the ability to prepare for who they were going to play. The Texans lose the day and now lose the day that's more importantly going to factor into, could we possibly get Nico back? Now, because of the fact that he's already had one concussion this year, it's obviously less likely that he was going to play. And the fact that when I saw the replay, I didn't think he really hit the ground that hard, but because he was coming off a concussion he already had a few weeks earlier, they always say that you're more susceptible. I just don't like the fact that if you want the best possible football game and everything is equal and the teams have the best chance to give you your best effort with the exception of who has home field, I think the Texans got screwed because of exactly what you said. I think that if Nico Collins gets an extra day, is there a better chance? I don't care if it's a 15% chance instead of a 10% chance or whatever it is. I'm not saying I'm not a doctor. I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Select, and I don't give a shit if you think you are. I just say that if I have one extra day to have a chance to have one of my best players play, I want that chance, and they're not going to get it. So do I think that against New England that they can still survive? I do, because you said it. You saw Christian Kirk, who, great trade for a 7th-round pick, but all season long I think he had more than half of the yards he had in the regular season in the game against Pittsburgh. He literally had almost half the yards he had in the regular season in one game because he's finally healthy. and because they finally found a place where they could use him and they needed him because there was so much with Porter Jr. and everybody that they had guarding Nico. The focus was more on him and he was able to excel. But I think because you still have such a deep wide receiver room, you've got Noel that you can play in the slot if you want to move Kirk around. You have Hutchinson and you have the guy. Your entire wide receiver room is capable of doing enough and picking up a play here or there to where between Higgins and Hutchinson and Noel and Kirk and even Dalton Schultz, who can't block to save his life, but at least he can catch a football. I think that they have enough that they can beat New England. I just think it kind of sucks you don't get that extra day to see if there's a chance that Nico could play.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I agree with everything you said, except that I don't know that they did that just to stick it to Houston. Here's the thing.
Oh, I'm not. I was kidding.
I know.
I think they pay the price. Yeah,
They definitely pay the price. I was shocked actually that Houston was the Monday night game. They're never. I was shocked that they weren't the early game on Saturday. Right, like that's usually where they bury Houston. Is a game and a time slot that no one would give a shit about. But I think they knew this Aaron Rodgers thing was a big deal. Could be his last game. Could Tomlin and so plus that defense. But that was shocking that they actually ended up on Monday. But now you're right. Now it backfires because boy, it'd be great to just have an extra day of rest and not have to deal with it. But
now, ideally, if you just want to be as fair as you can possibly be without admitting that you should go back to 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday, and give up the Monday night fiasco, then the Texans should have been playing the last game of the weekend on Sunday Night Football. Because initially, if you remember, the graphic that they showed during the game when they said they were going to announce the times after the game, it showed the Pittsburgh Texans winner playing New England in the final game of the weekend. At least you're playing the last game possible, so you're trying to help them out a little bit. But the fact that you're putting them up in an earlier day game on a Sunday doesn't do a whole hell of a lot because with travel and everything else, I just think they could have done better.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And my concern, no Nico Collins, it's not that they won't be able to score and run their offense or whatever. I think what it does is you kind of get a sigh of relief if you're New England's defense because you don't quite have to respect the passing game as much with no Nico Collins. He is one of the better receivers in the game. Obviously, he makes a difference. He's an impact player. And I think now what New England does is say, okay, we don't have to worry about quick slants to Nico, which is his specialty, that he can just run for yards after the catch. So let's just load up the box. Let's focus on stopping the run and make C.J. Stroud beat us with his arm. Can he? Sure. But I like my chances versus, just playing back. And C.J.'s just been too inconsistent. So without his number one weapon, that's a bit of a concern, especially if that's what New England does, which is, we're just going to stop the run. And you beat us with your arm if you think you could do it. That scares me.
Yeah, I think I understand it, but now you got to understand from a New England standpoint, Christian Gonzalez has had a concussion. He's one of their best, if not their best, secondary guy.
True. Is he going to be out? Did they say if he's out?
I haven't heard one way or the other.
Well, now that's a fair swap.
This week.
That's a fair swap, right?
Sure, because he's an above-average, all-pro type player, so that would help you. But I just think that injuries are going to happen. This is the playoffs. You go to war with next man up and whoever's there. And I think that the good news about all this to what you just said is Nick Caley has maybe finally, and it's about time, I get it, but finally kind of fell into his own to be comfortable calling plays. Because I think look at all that Kirk got. What Kirk got was a direct product of what Caley drew up because of the fact that he knew that Nico was going to be tied up. And he was able to do those things. If they focus on Kirk, you would expect that he can still draw up plays with guys that aren't just, guys off the street that are capable of running routes and creating separation and getting some footballs that I think that he could, at least you hope that he could do enough to put those guys in positions to succeed. Because CJ's proven, the CJ that we saw was scary against Pittsburgh because we haven't seen it since last year when things were so bad with the offensive line. Even the easy throws were hard. Because if I think that's why I said it all comes down to CJ. If CJ goes back to being CJ who he was all regular season, and he doesn't have problems just throwing simple pass routes, I think no matter who his receivers are, if Kaylee's on his game at all and they are able to run the football, I think they'll have their chances to have some shots.
I was just looking. I was trying to find the injury report to see if I could get an update on Christian Gonzalez, but I don't. But it shows like I'm on ESPN, and it shows like injury reports and all that, right? But it also shows like season leaders for each team. This shocked me. If I were to give you a guess, CJ Stroud versus Drake May. Mm-hmm. Drake May threw for more yards. If I set the over under at 700, do you think Drake May threw for 700 more yards or under 700 yards than CJ Stroud?
I think Drake May threw, I would say the obvious choice is that he threw for 700 more yards than CJ Stroud.
Well, that's where I was just setting it at. It's actually about 1,300 more yards.
Yeah, I mean, again,
Crazy.
you can factor in schedule and everything else, but Drake May there's a reason why he's in the MVP discussion.
And I know CJ missed 3 games. I understand that. But it's not like dude was, I don't know what he's averaging per game, but if it was 250, that's half. That makes up half of the gap. That's a crazy number, and it just shows you again the struggles he's had this year. Although, I mean, they have the same amount of interceptions, but CJ did his with 3 less games. So again,
I got you're the IT guy, but I somehow seem to find the information. Christian Gonzalez is still in concussion protocol for the Patriots.
Okay, so Patriots favored by 3. Are you taking the 3 or giving the 3?
I think I'd take the 3 and take the Texans. I'd feel fine with that because 3 is what everybody gets on the road. So it's not like they're saying that there's this dominant force that the New England Patriots are that is going to run roughshod over the Texans. If it's just a standard 3 points on the road, look, this team's won 10 games in a row. I understand who Drake May has been all regular season, but you want to talk about a team that feels like they're hot, that feels like they have momentum, that based on what they did defensively and the points that they put up as a byproduct of it, like you don't think that they're going to roll in with all the confidence of the world that this is a place that's been a house of horrors for us against a team that we can't beat, and we've tried to actually join by bringing all Patriots people for too long and the letter jackets and all the different missteps. This is a chance to put all that in the rearview mirror once and for all and go, guess what? Different Texans, different year, different result is possible, and we're here for it.
Yep. So I've got all of the odds. Let's see here. Go. These are the current odds. I guess I could try to zoom in some so it'd be easier to see. Denver favored by 1.
I told you already. I like Buffalo.
Yeah. So take Buffalo and the point.
Yep.
Seattle favored by 7 over the Niners.
I'm telling you right now, call me crazy and you can give me shit about this next week. I'll take 7 points in the Niners.
I'm with you, man. They just win. Now that Seahawks defense is something special too. We talk a lot about
they are good.
Defense. That's
right.
We'll
okay,
see.
keep going. What have we been talking about?
Here's my biggest concern with Seattle. No Kittle. Man, that's huge. That's like losing Nico Collins, right?
But their backup's decent. But okay, what I was going to say is, who was the guy? We just got done talking about guys that have had great regular seasons. Who was the guy last year that had the great regular season? And the 2 games that mattered most last year for the Vikings were the last game of the regular season and the first game of the playoffs. And who shit the bed without toilet paper? Yep. Sam Darnold. Here you go again. As good as your defense is, this is another chance for a quarterback to shit the bed and screw it all up for their team. Because if Sam Darnold doesn't play well, San Francisco is going to score points. But the one thing that they struggle with is because of all the injuries to Bosa and Warner and all the guys they've lost, they struggle with a team that can be high potency offensively. Seattle's just going to run the football, and they're going to put the ball in Darnold's hands a few times. Sam Darnold's got to play well, and if I get a touchdown in a playoff game with the Niners and Kyle Shanahan, I'll live with that.
Yeah. Rams are favored. We did the Texans already. Rams are favored by 4 on the road in Chicago.
That's amazing to me. In Chicago, the home team is the underdog. I
Yeah.
don't like that because I think that Ben Johnson's going to be all over that and he's got billboard material. I still look, I like the underdogs in almost every game this weekend. I like Buffalo. I like Houston. I like San Francisco. And I like the Rams. I'll take the Rams and give the points there.
Okay,
I
so
think
you like
Captain Purple Fingernails, I think Captain Pink, Purple Fingernails and Hello Kitty is going to have his dog in Netflix by the end of the weekend.
so you like all the underdogs except the Rams. That's the only one you'll
No, I
give.
like all the underdogs, period.
So you're taking the Bears and the points?
I'll take the no. Oh, you're right. Yeah, I'm sorry.
The Rams are
I
favored.
like
by
all the
4.
underdogs and the Rams. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Man, you know what? Like, I'm with you. I'll take the Bills and give the point. I mean, that's going to be a close game, but weather won't be a factor because, like you said, they play in Buffalo. I do like San Francisco +7. I love Texans +3. Give me that all day. Here's my only concern with this line with the Rams and the Bears. The Rams, by far, are the better team. There's something magical about this season and the Bears and late comebacks.
God.
I don't think that they win. I don't necessarily think the Bears are going to win, but their ability to score in the fourth quarter and continue to believe in themselves, that's where that 4 points becomes, this could be a one point game, right? This could be a field goal game that the Rams win. So the 4, I like that because if
Okay, but here's the thing. Unlike
less,
Green Bay, who is like a injury deprived defense, Rams defense is good, really athletic, really healthy, and you get versing those guys to pin back their ears and do some damage. They're not giving up the kind of lead, and you got a great head coach. They're not, and their defensive coordinators up for every head coaching job in the league. And Shula, the Rams aren't going to pee all over themselves and crap the bed like the Packers did.
the
I'm
Bears
I'm
have
here
some
for
good
I'm here
comeback
for all the
wins,
action.
though, man. No,
Okay, at one point, 3/4 of the way through the season, they had only beaten 2 teams with a winning record, and then they beat the Packers.
that's 2 more than New England, baby. I don't know why I'm trying to convince you.
You are.
You just
God,
hate the
you're like-
Bears because you're a Packers fan. I can
You're like
look at them
Belichick.
objectively.
You're like Bill Belichick over here for the Patriots all of a sudden.
All right. Fuck, it's already 5 o'clock. Joel, this is crazy how fast this goes when you and I get together. And
You should probably respond to text messages because we should do this on a regular basis.
kiss my ass.
Boy, Chris has been great, by the way.
We got to get you a better light, though, for after 4 o'clock. You're so dark.
I can do it. I have one.
You
one.
need
I
a
just
ring
didn't need it
light,
all day,
brother.
and the light was like blinding me. It's on the floor. I'm not picking it up right now, but I have a light, but
Well,
I didn't think I needed it, and all of a sudden at near
gotta
5
start
o'clock,
using it. Gotta start using it. All right. We'll do this again. I'll get your thoughts on Tomlin. It makes me
text
so
me.
sad. You know I'm a big Tomlin fan, but tell me. Oh, did you get the light on? Hey,
I just put
buddy.
No, it's just my phone.
Oh, just set it in front of you. Just point it at you, and there you go.
If my phone breaks, I mean,
I hope it does. God, I hope
Lisa's screen broke this weekend, and you'd have thought that I did it. Like, oh my
she
god,
was mad at you.
oh my god. No, she was just, and I go, I didn't do this, and she goes, well, can I just have some time? Can I just have some time to be mad? And I'm like, yeah, you can, but I don't think you should be mad at me.
She's like, I'm mad at everybody. I'm mad at the 7-year-old that made this phone. I'm mad at the 9-year-old that packed it.
No. She's just mad at the guy that she married on any time that things go wrong in her life. So I just, even Taylor was like, I think it was self-defense, Dad. I don't think you deserved any of that. And I go, no, I didn't either. But if you tell her that, it's only going to be worse.
How did it break? That's what I need to know. Is it a story you can tell?
No,
Did she drop
yeah.
it? Did she kick? No, can't tell the story.
No, I can tell for sure. I can tell it because Taylor felt awful. I had Maddie for a play date with one of her classmates So she and Taylor decided to go on a walk with the dogs. And for some reason, she gave Taylor her phone and said, "Hey, while we're walking, if you get bored or whatever, you can watch some videos or do whatever." And Taylor looked down for a second and dropped her phone, and it hit the road and cracked. And I came in, and Taylor was already had the quiver lip and the bubbly eyes, and I went, "Oh, babe." And she goes, "She already knows. She feels terrible. I told her it wasn't her fault." I'm like, "So then basically just bring the Fuhrer my way and we'll go from there."
You took one for the kiddos. Good for you. All right, look, people are asking, and Chris, this was on our list to discuss today. Chris, want to know any chance you and Joel can talk about the Jacksonville Reporter real quick?
Sure.
I felt that, Joel. Always my fault. Well, here's the deal, Joel. It's 4:59. Are you busy tomorrow?
Free.
Free?
You got it.
You want to run it back?
Yeah. Sure.
Let's do it again. All right, we'll run it
Yeah,
back.
'cause I gotta go pick up the kids, and I can't be delaying that. So I'll pick up the kids. We can get on all that tomorrow because there's a lot to say on that. So yeah,
There is. There's a whole lot on that. We didn't even get to our be someone who can drive. We didn't talk college football. We got a lot of shit to discuss. So we'll figure out a time frame that you can join tomorrow. Doesn't have to be the full 2 hours if you can't do it, but
no, we can do the full 2 hours. I'm fine.
Okay, let's do it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a show.
Treat it like trial runs for something maybe more consistent. If you would answer your text.
Sounds good. Shut up. I don't need to hear about the text. All right, that's it. That is Joel. I look like I'm a hostage blank over there.
Blair Witch Project is over for today.
Buddy, I appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow then.
You got it.
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, Joel Blake, give it up for the man, the myth, the legend. All right, let's get out of here. That is a show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for joining. What a fun thing to do. Oh my God. Been wanting to do that for a very long time. That felt good. It didn't feel like just a guest. You know what I mean? It felt like a co-host, like it used to be. Only I was driving this time, which is kind of weird for me. I'm used to being the one reacting and not driving, but what you gonna do? It still says Barry on deck for now. Huh? What? All right. That's a show, everybody. Thank you guys for the kind words. Thank you, Flip. Much love, brother. Thank you, Uriel. Appreciate you. B. Short said, hell yeah, I'll be back. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Of course, he doesn't, say that when I'm here by myself. That's fine. The sus decks. Oh, I like that. I like that. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you, John Dorier. I do answer questions, Brother Bear, but you asked 58 of them, and we got shit that we want to talk about too. Okay? Much love, Robin. So come back tomorrow and ask your questions, Brother Bear, and we'll try to answer them. All right? All right. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Don't forget, Joel gonna join me again, and we'll do it all again. So Barry is the boss. Kiss my ass. All right. I love you guys. Hey, until I see you tomorrow, do me 3 favors. Be safe. Be kind. And most importantly, love you, CC. Most importantly, love each other. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye, everybody. And he's making a YouTube video.